Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Pastor Shay, aka Chaplain G, coming back at y'all with another word of encouragement for today. So yeah, check this out. I wanted to bring y'all this word of encouragement because as I was reading it, man, I really connected with the story, with the heart of what the character in the story was going through. So I wanted to read this to y'all, talk to a little bit, and hopefully you'll be encouraged by it. Yo, this comes out of the book of Mark. It's chapter 9. I'm going to pick it up in verse 14. Prior to verse 14, we have the story of the transfiguration of Christ, right? Like Jesus goes up on the mountain. He's there with his three inner circle, right? They're up on the mountain, and Jesus, they see Jesus almost in his truest self, like his body is transfigured in this way, and it's this impactful story, and they see Moses and Elijah there, and there's all this stuff going on, right? They're up on the mountain, they're having this experience. Verse 14 picks up as they're on their way back down from the mountain of transfiguration. So y'all check this out. It says, and when they came to the disciples, they saw a great crowd around them, and scribes arguing with them. And immediately all the crowd, when they saw him, were greatly amazed and ran up to him and greeted him. And he asked them, what are you arguing about with them? And someone from the crowd answered him, Teacher, I brought my son to you, for he has a spirit that makes him mute. And whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, and he foams and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast it out, and they were not able. And he answered them, O faithless generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him to me. And they brought the boy to him. And when the spirit saw him, immediately it convulsed the boy, and he fell on the ground and rolled about, foaming at the mouth. And Jesus asked his father, how long has this been happening to him? And he said, from childhood, and has often cast him into fire and into water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. And Jesus said, if you can, all things are possible for one who believes. Immediately the father of the child cried out and said, I believe. Help my unbelief. Man, I can imagine what the dad is going through. Actually, I can't imagine what the dad is going through. This little boy has been going through this since he was a small child, and it has caused a devastating effect on his family. They don't know if they're going to lose their child. They're trying to figure it out. I'm sure they went to doctors, and the doctors couldn't do anything. I'm sure they brought the boy to the temple, and the temple wasn't able to do anything. They hear about this Jesus guy, and they bring their son to the disciples, and they're like, man, of course, being in proximity, of course they would have some kind of answers. The disciples don't have any answers. And finally, he sees Jesus. And after all these disappointments of all these things he's run into, medicines and prayers and this and that, he says, if you can help, I've gotten all these no's. If you can, please help us. Jesus says, of course I can help. Everything's possible for those who believe in God. And his dad says, I believe, but help my unbelief. There's been plenty of times recently when my mind, and I would say a part of my heart, believes in God. But man, I have this unbelieving spirit where it's difficult sometimes to put my full faith and my full trust in the one that can make absolutely anything happen. I feel like I gotta go do something, or if I can't see it with my eyes or make it happen myself, then it's not going to happen. Man, I get this, Dad. I believe, but help my unbelief. I believe that God is going to take care of me and my family with job situations and money and stuff like that. I believe, but man, help my unbelief. I believe that God is going to restore some broken relationships in my life. I believe, but man, help my unbelief. It's in these times when God is calling us into a deeper faith. There's almost like this invitation, man, come and see what I can do. Put your full faith and trust in me. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I think that's what this dad had to go through, and I think because Jesus loves us, cares for us, because he has walked in our situation, like he knows that the spirit is willing but the flesh is so weak, because he knows that about us, like he has experienced every temptation that we have, yet was without sin. Because of all that, I think Jesus looks on compassion with his dad, and he heals the boy. He casts that spirit out of him. He does what no other entity, prayer, medicine, logic, science, he does what no one else can do. He does the miraculous. He's just calling for our faith. And so, my prayer is that you hear this story, that you hear this father saying, God, I believe, but help my unbelief. My prayer is that you connect with the heart of what's being said here. It's also my hope and my prayer for you that you go on to read the rest of this section and see how Jesus responds to him. Jesus is responding the same way to you. I'm here. I'll do what your heart desires. Just believe in me. That's my word of encouragement for you for today. Hopefully it is encouraging. Please go back and read this passage. Hit me up. We can talk about it. But I love y'all, man. Hope y'all doing well. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. The more you tell people about what we're doing over here, the more encouragement I get to keep it popping, keep it moving, and keep getting better, keep growing. So I love y'all. Hope y'all doing well. And until next time, grace and peace.